Hello, 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 all of you beautiful nerds from around the world, and welcome to another community stream here on the Den of Nerds Live. Tonight's going to be a very cool one. I'm very excited about this. What if we did What If? What If, of course, going to be the Marvel show, taking us on a journey, going over different versions of the MCU characters and the MCU powers that we see these characters have. Everybody loves Elseworlds, man. Everybody loves Elseworlds and what ifs. But what ifs and or Elseworlds would we do? That's what it's about tonight. I'm going to drop the link in chat one more time, and then I'm going to bring a bunch of people in here, and we will talk about all of this fun stuff, man. I got some good ones, and I know we've got some good ones. Josh is going to be toasted. Nah, man, nah. I can't. Got to be on my P's and Q's, as it were. So there's the link right there, everybody. Welcome. Let's go, community. And I'm going to bring in some of the coolest nerds I know. Let's bring in Stormbreaker. Let's bring in Dan the Man. Let's bring in Burke the Nerd. Yo, give me 1 second here, guys. Just gonna adjust this volume on the stream because you'll be kind of low coming in. Okay, now we should be good. What's going on, gentlemen?
All good. Much.
My eye is hurting.
Oh no, what'd you do? Hit it or something?
Oh no, man! It's the pollen season, you know. But I've been inside all day.
Yep. I know.
But
I know
I'm good.
all about
I'm good.
that.
I'm ready to rock.
Had a busy day today. Lots of homework for school.
Yeah. You guys go back soon?
No, the plan now is to open schools back up on May 6th, but I don't see that happen anytime soon. So, but I also had a lot of time writing on the article. So
Yeah. I got the email about. I talked to you a little bit about you and Trev's collaboration.
Yep.
That. Yeah. Burke the Nerd, what's going on, man? I heard the stream went well. Got like 200 buckaroos.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Nice,
I had Stormbreaker
man.
on there. I saw you, man.
Yeah,
he was just actually
awesome.
over there with us just like a minute ago, too. I was just talking to him for like 2 hours.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it. I wanted to, but, we'll set something up soon in the future because I definitely want to start doing some stuff on Twitch as well. But, gentlemen.
For sure, man.
The topic is the what ifs, and I know you guys have a bunch of good ones. Before we get into any of your picks, though, I want to shout out, and you guys were probably there on the stream this morning, most of you, but Flatbrush Zombie 47, he had one that just kind of blew my socks off right away, and I wanted to just kind of open it up to you guys. He said, what if Mysterio had the Reality Stone? And I just thought that was so cool.
Perfect. Really perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, right?
I wonder if he would need his technology, though, then.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? So, look, the way I was thinking of it was in a scenario, and I think that this is kind of what he was getting at. If he had the technology, let's say he had the technology and he didn't die, which I don't think he died anyways.
Right.
But then eventually maybe like there's a Cabal or something, there's Infinity Stones, and then in that scenario he gets the Reality Stone with already sort of the skill set on manipulating reality and stuff, man. I mean, it would just be...
Yeah,
it would be pretty cool.
Well, he wouldn't need a team anymore, so that would be probably his power level would be like, assuming he could wield it, right?
Yeah, that's
that
the
would
thing.
That would eliminate that guy from the first Iron Man movie.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, let's just open up to your guys' picks. Let's start with Stormbreaker, and then we'll just kind of go around. What's the what if that you would most want to have, man?
All right, so the first one I have is what if Bucky became Captain America and Steve Rogers became the Red Skull?
Ooh, okay. Now, do you have a scenario in which how you would think this would happen?
I mean, if Bucky became Captain America and you have Steve Rogers as an Hydra agent, and instead of what's the guy's name who is Red Skull again?
Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, but the character's name.
Yeah, man, I'm blanking.
I don't know, but if Steve Rogers just became the Red Skull instead of him because he's a Hydra soldier in my timeline.
Yeah. No, that would be cool. Loki. So would Loki pretend? Like, would Loki sort of shapeshift and then take the super soldier serum, or would he just come to Earth and become Captain America because he's already really strong?
Oh, what did you say? Did I say Loki?
Yes.
Oh, I meant Bucky. Sorry.
Oh, Bucky.
Bucky.
Oh, I
Bucky
must
as
have
Captain
misheard you. I
America.
must have misheard you. Yeah. Okay.
No,
Well,
that's no
first of all, that's way cooler, and yeah, that would make a lot of sense because they'd be at odds. That would be crazy. See those guys be at odds would be pretty sweet.
Really?
What do you guys think?
If Red Skull was Captain America,
Yeah. Like if he got either compromised or turned, and he became Captain America, or it's like a Hydra Cap thing from the comics.
sounds like a lot going on. I might have to process that one.
Process it. Hey, look. You know, we know what day it is. Process it, Dan. Bert, what do you think, bro?
It would change a whole lot about the dynamic of the first movie. So it's like such a shift from what we saw. So you're right. It takes a little bit to process.
Yeah.
Right.
The fact that they're like brotherly and they'd have to.
Well, how would he become the Red Skull? So does he get converted, or does he is he just always a Nazi and then he just becomes what was it like? How does it change the origin? Did he just get the power?
They could do it maybe when Bucky gets the super soldier serum, Steve Rogers is super jealous and goes to Hydra to get that serum, to get that thing started
That's
out.
the way he decides to get into the war is if the
Yeah.
Americans won't take me, the Germans will.
Yeah. That would be wild. Yeah.
That will definitely be interesting because you could have it where instead of painting it. I mean, I definitely think if he went the route he went to the Germans because he wanted to fight in the war anyway. That would be so weird, changing his character. But
yeah.
But then I could definitely see it happening. When would that be a Winter Soldier change, or would that be a the first Avenger?
Yeah, probably have to go all the way back to that.
Because I almost wonder then if you just keep him, because then you could recycle, because then he would be the villain in both movies if you carried it into Winter Soldier.
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
Because he would just become that, and then Winter Soldier would still be there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, how about this one? Let's go. James Heaton just dropped in a super chat and said, "What if Wanda died in Age of Ultron instead of Quicksilver? That would change everything." I actually was thinking about that. Actually, that was one of the things I was.
That one too.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was processing.
That is incredible because Quicksilver is the type of dude that's just so, he's not as calm as Wanda,
right?
So I don't think he would even mess with the Avengers like that. I think he would just go on a rampant for real.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. He'd go full on villain. And that would be
I think they would just keep trying to keep him on the payroll. I think if they kept paying him, maybe he'd stick around or something. But Tony Stark just has to keep giving him money, or else he's
Yeah. I mean, it would be really cool. I feel like he might blame them a little bit though. He might blame the Avengers and kind of hold.
Oh yeah, true.
Let me ask you this. This is just a total side question. I've always thought about this. How do you think if he really wanted to, Quicksilver could have just killed? My thing about a speedster is don't you think he could have just been so fast that he could have just came into a room and snapped necks like Steven Seagal?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that's why every speedster pretty much ever has to be cocky, or else their character is inevitably overpowered.
Well, I think the way they played it is because they didn't know if he was going to be a mutant or not. They had him be like a human that was experimented on, and that's why he kept running out of breath, so he couldn't go too crazy with the quickness.
True, because they did actually nerf him compared to Flash and shit. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, he did catch the bullet, but he could have done it on another way.
I know, right? He got the bullet with his guts.
Like that.
Yeah.
Didn't see that come.
Right.
Do you think if they bring him back, because there's that theory of bringing him back in WandaVision, do you think if they bring him back, if they bring him back under her terms, right, where it's her magic powers, do you think she would make him strong enough, where he'd come back way faster than he was before?
It's possible.
Absolutely.
Because they could retcon his powers because she's I don't want him to die that way anymore.
That would be a cool way to do it.
Yeah.
I love that
Really?
thought, man. Yeah, that's dude.
So-
Do you guys realize how fucking awesome it is that we're all just this nerdy about this shit? That we can just talk
It's
about
too
this.
much.
We're like, yeah, no, that's dope. Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
cool.
Long day, right?
But anyways, Dan, do you have a pick that you want to go over?
Absolutely.
What you got, man?
Gentlemen, what if Ant-Man and the Wasp, and not just any Ant-Man and the Wasp, goddammit, Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne
Mm.
joined the Avengers when they were supposed to in the first Avengers movie?
Oh,
What
That would be
if?
sweet, dude.
that would be cool.
What would it look like now? You know?
So, I mean, Hank Pym and Tony would obviously have major beef.
Yep.
But that would be cool. That would be cool to see. Maybe the alien attack. Like, I'd like to believe that if Hank was there, the alien attack would be enough for him to sort of drop that a little bit and maybe work with Tony.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
there'd be major beef between them, probably like a lot of distrust, but they would be pretty fucking unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Hank Pym would have shrunk between the atoms and disabled that bomb.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were gonna
like he
say
did
something
in Cuba.
Right.
the butthole.
Right.
No, I was going.
Loki. Loki.
But I think because everyone hated Iron Man so much, there's a good chance that if Hank Pym was there, Iron Man wouldn't even be on the team.
Yeah, that's
Really?
dude. That's true, and that could lead into a whole different thing where he becomes disenfranchised, maybe becomes a sort of villain.
He's the
of
Ultron.
theirs. Yeah,
He makes Ultron for different reasons.
I think that that Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne, Ant-Man and the Wasp, were at first being ready for the script of Avengers Endgame, but they got cut or something like that.
Yeah, I think.
But
They,
how could you,
yeah, I think they wanted them.
how do you get cut out from Avengers Endgame when the whole kitchen sink is in Endgame?
Well,
I don't
right.
understand.
They were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that there was I feel as though there were actually a lot of things that were on the table for Endgame that get cut because they actually did want to leave a lot of focus on the original
Yeah,
cast.
indeed.
So like I think there was
Right.
actually way more Captain Marvel in that movie actually originally.
Yeah.
And I think they cut her out a lot just because like, dude, I'm sorry, like it's not your turn. Like this is we've been with these people for 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I
that's
think that's
right.
sort of
Yeah.
But real
That
quick, I
was-
just want to touch on Trev's super chat. Thanks for the super chat, brother. What does the MCU look like if Killmonger beats T'Challa? And I mean,
Ooh,
like,
that was wild.
yeah. Oh, go, yeah. Go. What do you think?
No, I didn't have any thoughts past that. That was
Okay.
just, I was just like, yeah, what would happen?
Anybody got any thoughts?
Oh yeah. They first off, they would have lost in Infinity War way before Thanos snapped his fingers.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Because there would most likely be no army because
Oh, yeah.
Killmonger would get them all. Killmonger would probably get them all killed. If I'm being
Right.
honest.
And he wouldn't even let them in. Like,
Yeah, he wouldn't have
Right.
let them in. Yeah, and the Stones.
well, they
would've
probably would have
gotten-
already been fighting, right?
Maybe.
Maybe. At
Yeah.
war.
I mean, that's a good
I mean,
point. Like, he's not
possible.
gonna. Well, he's not gonna help them out. Like T'Challa helped them out, and so the Stones would probably just all gotten taken,
Yeah.
Right.
or most of them would have. Let me ask you this. This is kind of something that I was thinking about. This: if Killmonger did take over, and he got like the Dora Milaje and all the tribes to back him, like literally not rebel. Do you think he could have taken over the planet? Do you think that Wakanda is powerful enough to take over the planet? Because I would say
Oh yeah, for sure.
definitely right now after Endgame they can, because everything's like the defenses are down and shit. But like, do you think that they would have, if it was Wakanda versus the Avengers, like for real?
Well, I don't think it would have played out that way because I mean, if you like the way Killmonger's plan was structured is like they already have sleeper agents in every country in the world. So it was going to be kind of like a Winter Soldier scenario or like Civil War scenario where it was like, oh, we're just going to like awake these agents or just tell them to like assassinate all of the leaders. And then like they have to go to us. So it's kind of like not exactly the same as like, but you're right. The Avengers eventually would be like, have to fight him after that.
That's the thing.
If the Avengers fought him, they'd lose, right? I think.
Yeah, I mean,
They are.
What do you say,
they are-
Stormberger?
Yeah, they are the most technically advanced country there is. So yeah, I think they would have stand a chance.
Yeah, that would have been crazy to see. You know what I mean? And I feel like
Yeah.
now, now moving forward, like Doom's going to be in play, Namor's going to be in play, and so there will be sort of multiple. And once Magneto comes in too, there'll be sort of multiple kingdoms now. So like, I would say moving forward, it's less and less possible the more characters like that are in the MCU. But like in like phase 1, 2, or 3, if Wakanda had decided to, I feel like they just take over. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
they obviously didn't, and they wouldn't, unless
Right.
Killmonger, right? But yeah, I feel like they would. But Burton,
Well, I
what's
think
your?
the point
Yeah,
of
sorry, go ahead.
the Black Panther movie was that Wakanda could have stopped all those catastrophic events that were happening around the world, but they chose not to. So
Right.
with that into consideration, I think they really could have, like,
Yeah.
if they want to, Earth would have been Wakanda's,
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
But
Yeah,
that's
I'm gonna
not
go
the
ahead and agree.
type
Yeah.
of nation they are.
Right,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, but I think they've got the. I mean, it's one of those like walk quietly but carry a big stick sort of mentalities. They have the power but they don't use the power, which was wise. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
but also I think the point of
Yeah.
Black Panther is kind of to sort of recontextualize that, because I think ultimately at the end, like by T'Challa he decides to share and help and kind of come out of the shadows. So like in a way, he
Right.
sees the point that Killmonger had. Killmonger was too obviously nefarious with it, but he sees the point. He's like, shit, you guys were wrong. We could be helping, which is
Yeah.
cool.
Like, that's what I've always said, that T'Challa does what Killmonger was going to do anyway, but in a more peaceful way.
Right.
Yeah,
at the end.
yeah, 100%, 100%. But Burke the Nerd, what's your first pick?
So I was trying to piece together what my thoughts were on this in my head beforehand, and I couldn't get it. But then I just kind of clicked. All right, so Age of Ultron. Ultron makes his completes his drone, his vibranium person, right?
Yep.
And he gets completely synchronized with the Mind Stone, and he gets other information and realizes, I have a different mission than kill the Avengers, and he leaves the planet. Now, Infinity War, what if Ultron gets all the stones?
Yeah. I like it.
Isn't that a scenario in the Ultimate Alliance 3 game where he has all the...
Oh, I don't know. I think so.
Yeah, it is. But honestly, like it's even in the context of like the MCU, that would be absolutely nuts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Brent. I appreciate the love, brother.
Because you have to argue that like the stones, like there's been arguments that like stones want to be together, right? So there's like always kind of like force pulling them together.
Yeah.
Wow, that would be so sick.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I mean, I think that he's Ultron is obviously powerful enough to wield them, smart enough to know how to use them. Do you think he would do the 50 life thing though? That feels like a Thanos thing. You know what I mean? Like what would Ultron do? Just subjugate everybody?
He would just kill them all.
You think he'd go 100?
Yeah. Or just mind control, like a hive mind.
Yeah, that could. Yeah,
that sounds pretty plausible. Yeah.
In which case, like anyone that like maybe had the power, I think like what would have to happen is it would become centralized on Doctor Strange and Wanda, or like anyone that has their powers derived from the stones, because they would be able to resist that a little bit more. So maybe like it would be those people that were able to resist the hive mind or break out of it would like find everyone in like a drone like state and would have to like find a way to like pretend like go under the radar and like fight from like within or something.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty small resistance for sure.
Yeah, it'd be a small group.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out. I think we've got an echo from somewhere. Somebody said in the chat. I actually think it's good now. Are we good now?
Oh yeah, we're straight.
Yeah.
No, it's...
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't really hear. Yeah, I don't really hear it. If it comes back again, let us know in chat. So I'll go. Let me pick my favorite one, because I find this one to be so funny. My what if would have been, what if when Captain America was getting the serum, instead of turning into Captain America, he turned into the Hulk. So instead of having Captain America be like the big kind of dude, he's still like skinny little Steve, but then he can Hulk out. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And so they still try to make him Cap. But like they still have the shield. And it's like, you know, like super tiny on him, or maybe he wears it as a chain or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it still the anger thing, or is it?
So it would, I think the way I would do it is it would still be the anger thing, but like he would have potentially a little more control than Banner did over it. Where
Right.
like not quite Professor Hulk, but like more in control of it. And then he would like whoop the shit out of the Red Skull, basically is what I'm saying. Like that would be yeah.
Now
that
what
would be
if?
good.
Yeah.
Now what if Red Skull also became a version of the Hulk?
And he's Red Hulk. Red Skull Hulk.
Red Hulk.
Yeah, version of him.
Dude,
Red
Yes.
Skull Hulk.
It's like half Abomination, half Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah. I just think it would be so funny because I would play all the beats, like him and Bucky, him and Peggy, like all of it. Replay all the beats, just make him like skinny little Steve that then hulks out. You know what I mean? Like I just think it would be hilarious.
Then Bucky most likely Steve Hulk would have probably saved Bucky from falling off that train.
Those are shots fired, dude.
Alternate suggestion. He gets the super strength like normal, but his size doesn't change.
Yeah, that could be. Or maybe
So he's still a super soldier, but he's just the same small, like 95-pound Steve Rogers.
that would be hilarious, dude. That would be crazy. Can you imagine? Like
no one was like,
yeah,
no one's
yeah.
created or anything.
All right, what's up, Trev? Let's bring Trev in. Trev, what's going on?
Hey,
You got a,
watching, guys. You guys are doing good. I like it.
Thanks,
man. You got a good what if for us or
I was gonna say, what if Thanos had to face Hela, and like let's say Hela beats Thanos, or if Hela beats Thor and Valkyrie and the Revengers or whatever. What if Thanos shows up there and he has to face Hela and let's say Surtur or something?
So
Right.
So you're basically saying what's the limits? Like,
And he has the power gem. He'd have the power gem at that point too, probably.
okay,
right? So.
yeah. I see what you're saying, but like Hela's pretty strong. That's all I'm gonna say. And I want to leave it up to you guys, but Hela's pretty strong.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty crazy team up actually.
I actually
I don't
did
even
the
know.
battle bracket for the villains, Marvel villains, and Hela and Thanos went up, and everyone was like, Hela, hands down. And I didn't expect it because everyone, when we started the bracket, everyone was like, Thanos is going to win all the way. I'm like, there's Dormammu in this bracket. He's not going to win. And I'm like, he doesn't have his, like, but Hela is like, I think that I actually made this argument. Like, I don't think that Thanos would have gone for the stones at that moment if Hela had won. I don't think he would have went for them.
Interesting. So,
I mean,
why not?
we've seen Thanos go ham plenty of times without the stones, right?
Yeah.
True.
He took out the Hulk in like 10 seconds when he was
He had the
using
power
his weapons.
stone. He had the power stone to take out.
But did he
the Hulk.
use the Power Stone?
Yeah, he had to. Otherwise, he doesn't have the strength to beat Hulk. Otherwise,
I don't know,
Like,
man.
that
I've seen
man-
some Hulk versus.
They didn't
Thanos
show it glow
comics.
though, did it? I don't
No,
think they
I
showed
don't think
it glow.
he used it.
It-
Trev, I think he's.
It would have glowed. They made a clear distinction that if once it glows, that's when it's being
Unless
used.
he gets a base power like boost by having it in there, because I mean, when you put it on, he
Yeah.
does get the like glow. So maybe like he does
I
get a
think-
base power boost.
But he still
I
has.
think
armor.
But even if
I think
past Thanos didn't have it when he was fighting Thor, Iron Man, and Cap, and he just had his weapons,
Yeah.
he'd
Right.
still be there.
And he fucking
think-
handled business.
I think Thanos would stand a chance against Hela, but if Surtur comes into play there, yeah, he would be dead as fuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you watch Hela beat Thor, Loki, and Hulk and Valkyrie all together.
Kind
Like,
of easily.
like pretty easily.
Yeah.
I mean, like you could see the way she handled like pretty much Odin force Thor,
right.
like nothing. So it was like,
Yeah.
so I think
well,
like
she'd be
I don't.
sharing. Her and Thor would be sharing the Odin Force
Right. Yeah.
in that cinematic
Right.
universe.
And Thor, people even said like Thor, that was peak Thor, right? And we see him in Infinity War. Once he like peak Thor broke with his Stormbreaker, actually went through all of these stones. Like at full blast, it went through them.
Yes.
And
He was.
hit-
Well,
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna hold you though. Peak Thor in Infinity War was kind of like, but basically what I'm trying to say is Stormbreaker won't really all the way right, like how it should have been. Like if he found that goddamn handle, he would have been dumb, stupid powerful.
Right.
Like he was still straight with the wooden stick.
Yeah.
But if he actually found what he was supposed to have found, I think he would have been like beyond.
But he did throw it through like all the force of every stone and hit Thanos. The only reason that Thanos won is because he portaled out of there, right?
Yeah.
Which arguably, why didn't he portal after him? I guess he didn't know where he went. But like he can also teleport, so why didn't you just like?
True. Yeah.
There's a what if right there. What if he just teleported after him?
The way I interpret that scene though is that it's not as though Thanos is using all of the stones like to their full capacity, because like the whole time he's kind of toying with them, and I think he was just like blasting energy at Thor. Now don't get me wrong, that's an incredible feat that Stormbreaker goes through it. It's ridiculous, but like he could have just turned Thor and Stormbreaker into bubbles or some shit, right?
Or like he did in
he wasn't really using. There's a moment on Titan where like he does that weird move that like just hits everybody. It just does like an area of effect move, and you could just tell like he's just having fun. Like he doesn't even think he's really. You know,
well, I think one of the big reasons is like they said, like because it's like his hero's journey. He didn't want to take lives that didn't need to be taken.
Right. He's
doing. I was gonna say they're doing the scene out of Infinity Gauntlet where Thanos is just using like 5% of the Infinity Gauntlet's power.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Maybe they even had that line at some point and they scrapped it or whatever.
Where he's he's limiting himself to show death, to prove to death that he can. That's not obviously that's slightly different in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but
yeah, for sure. Well, let's go back around. Stormbreaker, you got another one?
So the second I have is what if Stephen Strange never got his car accident, and instead of him becoming the Sorcerer Supreme, it would be Baron Mordo.
Ooh.
I like it. I like it.
And then you start the what if with the little same scene from the first Doctor Strange movie, where like him riding his car, but instead of him having a car accident, he just rides on, and then it cuts to Baron Mordo becoming the Sorcerer Supreme.
Now, here's the thing. Mordo was kind of obsessed with not using the Time Stone, right? So he didn't actually want to use the Time Stone. What do you think Mordo would do? He wouldn't align himself with Dormammu.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a quick edit at it. What if Wong becomes the Sorcerer Supreme?
Wong as Sorcerer Supreme is all right with me. I'm a fan of Wong.
Wong would have used the mirror dimension to handle business. That's all.
You think so? Well, he'd be he would know all that shit, right? Being like the librarian, right? He would know all that. Yeah, I mean, that would be really interesting. I actually had here. I'm gonna throw this one in there just because this is kind of has to do with it. I actually had a really weird one with the Sorcerer Supreme. What if I wanted to know? What if Hawkeye became Sorcerer Supreme? Yeah, that's right. Oh and here's why. Imagine, first of all, magic arrows, magic bow, but also stopping time. Okay, so you freeze time, and then you load up your magic arrows. You let your magic arrows go, and then you start time again. Boom, 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 boom. Everybody's hit with their magic arrows.
If he's using the time stone for that, that's the stupidest thing you could use it for.
Now I feel terrible. No, I'm just kidding.
Combine it with Quicksilver lives and becomes a villain, and then you have a perfect movie.
I like it.
Sorcerer Supreme, Hawkeye versus
Hawkeye, Sorcerer Supreme. Come on, guys. No.
I think you run into Doom at one point if someone else other than Stephen Strange becomes Sorcerer Supreme.
True.
You run into Doom.
I mean, come on, I can't argue with that.
Really cool. I feel like he would use it to stop his family from turning into dust.
Definitely.
Probably would do that, yeah.
Definitely. Well, that's the thing too. He is a soldier, and he is really, tactical, and has a lot of insight from being in S.H.I.E.L.D. too. So, like, you could see him being a little more militant with the power, perhaps. It'd be kind of fun. I just want to see magic bow and arrows.
What if Hawkeye had a Green Lantern ring?
Yes.
What if Green Arrow had a Green Lantern ring?
Yeah.
Yes.
What if Silver Surfer became Iron Man?
Could they?
I feel like that's kind of like my Hawkeye one, where it's like, I mean, that's cool, but
your Hawkeye one.
I think what you want to see has happened, like in DC? Like what you're specifically asking for?
What's
It's
DC,
basically
Trev?
it's
What's-
basically Green Arrow with the Green Lantern.
What is
It's all-
this
it's all the
DC word that you said? DC.
Never heard of it.
Instead of Silver
The
Surfer
shade.
becoming Silver Surfing becoming Iron Man, having Iron Man become a Herald of Galactus,
Yeah. Power cosmic.
and
Iron
becoming
Man.
the
There you
invincible
go.
Iron Man.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I think the Hawkeye one could have worked. Like they could have written that. Imagine like Endgame, right? Instead of him being Ronin, instead he went to Wong and Wong trained him because Doctor Strange isn't there,
Right.
and Wong trained him to be the new Sorcerer Supreme. You could have made that. Like that could have worked.
I would have, yeah. I mean, I felt like it was so just kind of off the wall because I was just trying to go for like crazy ones. And I'm playing like D&D right now too, so like my mind is in like
Yep.
Archer kind of
There you
mode
go.
too.
Uh,
There you go.
But yeah, Dan, you got another one?
Yes, sir. What if my boy Trip lived in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I know. Yes. I know.
He's the guy
Yeah.
that died. He's the one that died when what's her name was becoming an Inhuman. She was getting her
Quake.
powers when Quake was getting
Right.
her powers.
Yes.
Season two finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I mean, I definitely watched season 2, but I'm having trouble remembering.
So remember, Quake goes into that like rock like cocoon thing,
Yes.
and Trip is
Oh
the
yeah, and the other bull, like he's in there with her or some shit, and then
he's in that
Right.
virtual world too, isn't he? When they make that virtual world, isn't he alive?
He is.
He's
He
alive in
comes
that
back for a little bit in that, yep. But would the show have been better if my boy was still around?
I'm
one.
gonna
I mean,
say
I think
yes.
I liked him more than Mac.
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay. Okay.
That show would have been better if they just did the Inhumans
Because
right.
those guys
Like,
were
they
both
gotta
just
give them
kind of
a budget.
add-ons at one point of it, right?
The what?
What happened?
I mean, they were kind of like add-ons at the end of the first season or something, right? Like,
Yeah. Like at first it was a guest appearance in one of the episodes in season 1, then they just stuck him there.
I like Trip though. I like Trip a lot. I thought he was a pretty cool character. I felt like him. He died too early at the end of season.
Right.
Like, he died.
Yeah.
mid-season.
Like,
I gotta be honest.
Luckily, season
I'm not
7.
really sure about all that. I just don't remember Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that much. That's all.
well,
But I'm sure that it would
We
have
all
been
know.
dope.
thank you. Yes.
What if
Season 7.
it all
time
connected?
travels.
What if the MCU, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Oh yeah.
and the Netflix shows all connected?
But
Wouldn't
then
that
you
be
also
crazy?
have but then you also have the Inhumans connected to the MCU. So
yeah. Huh? How about this? Danny Rand becomes the immortal Iron Man.
That would be dope, dude.
He's got like the
Oh,
armor, but it's also like powered with the fists too. So he's got like
Yeah, man, that would be
the
sick, dude.
power fist, the gauntlet.
Yeah,
right?
like
Yeah.
instead, you could even do a thing where instead of the arc reactor, he like powers it through
Yeah.
like, his key, and it's just like, like,
oh, that'd
yeah,
be sick.
yeah, I'm into that. That sounds dope. Trev, you got another one? You got one you want to throw out?
I'm still thinking on it, but just go. I'll come back to me in like a couple minutes. I'm just thinking.
I have a random Star Wars one, if I can, throw that out there. I don't know if you guys notice I kind of like Star Wars. Okay, so
I'm ready. I'm ready.
this is a two-parter. It's a two-parter, okay? Trev is gonna love this one. So what if? First of all, the most obvious one is what if?
Luke didn't throw the lightsaber away.
Yes.
What if
that
the
would've been-
sequel trilogy
yeah,
didn't happen?
exactly right? That would be the.
What
most
if Luke Skywalker was an Avenger?
What if? Well, Luke Skywalker whooped through everybody in our battle bracket, so let's not sleep on Luke. But the obvious one would be, what if Anakin beats Obi-Wan on Mustafar? Okay, so that's the first part. But then the second part is Yoda beats the Emperor on Coruscant, and so for then the final battle is actually Yoda versus Anakin. Thoughts?
I mean, that would be really cool. That'd be. I'm in for that. I'm in.
Yeah. The battle would be like 3 hours long, but yeah.
Well, who do you think? Who do you got?
Twirling.
Who do you got in that battle?
I think Yoda wins.
Oh, for sure, Yoda.
And
Absolutely.
To see the part where Anakin beats Obi-Wan has got to be where I have the high ground and Anakin beats it.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
And he
Anakin
jumps
just runs
way
around.
higher.
He just runs around.
Yeah, yeah. True. Or just like tucks and rolls. Like, he didn't have to have all his shit hanging out like that, Because essentially Obi-Wan just goes and like kind of butchers him like
I would love to rewrite that last scene on Mustafar. I would love for someone like to go and like just rewrite the dialogue between Obi-Wan and Luke and Padme, the fight choreography. Even though it looked cool, just still I would just love
that fight choreography.
But then we would never have the high ground, Trev.
I know, right?
We never have the
think
high
about
ground.
the memes, Trev. You're not even thinking about the memes right now, so that's fine.
The question is who had the moral high ground.
Anakin. From my point of view,
Dude, Anakin had the lava ground.
Yeah, he had the coolest thing.
Yeah, one of the best Ronin memes I've seen.
Like a third thing, right? That would have like rather than the Republic, it would have been his Republic. Would have looked a lot different, maybe.
What if Yoda won?
Anakin,
or if Anakin did?
If
Anakin ultimately ends up, let's say Anakin beats Yoda, Anakin beats Obi-Wan, and all that kind of stuff. If Anakin wins, so Palpatine's dead, and Anakin's left. let's say, and Padme is gone. Like, and what about his twins? How do his twins end up too?
Yeah, that's true.
Does he get them back? Is Padme just choked out and wakes up again?
Yeah, that would be really weird. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Anakin would not have been a good ruler. I'm gonna just stretch and honestly.
But it's my empire.
Yeah, I don't like sand, and he just blows up all the desert planets or something.
I feel like the path Anakin was on, he would have turned his children into cybernetic, terrible creations. Just the way his crazed mind was at, I don't trust him to be a good father at that point.
Yeah.
So he'd probably do something horrible to Luke and Leia. Yeah. And assuming Padme survives, I don't know how the fuck that would turn out.
Does he? Because really, up to that point, does Anakin want to rule? Up to that scene where he fights Obi-Wan, does he want to rule at all?
So here's my thinking on
He says my empire.
Right. Yeah.
Would he let Padme? If let's say Padme wakes up and they kind of reconcile still, and he's like, I was just upset in them, whatever. Mm-hmm. And they were trying to do whatever, and he convinced Padme. Would he let Padme rule?
I feel like when in Attack of the Clones, which is such a good film, by the way, guys. But in Attack of the Clones, I'm feeling it off my recent prequel rewatch. But there's scenes where Anakin's on Naboo and they're talking about the war, and Anakin says some stuff like, well, these people should do this, and then basically Padme's like, well, what if they don't want to? And he's like, well, then they should be made to. And then she's like,
yeah,
by who? And so I think that his philosophy was like, and it's almost like taking the Jedi shit just a little too far, where he was like, look, we know what's best, you know what I mean? And like, I can feel the Force, I can do all this stuff, so like I'll know what's best, and then I'll make people do what's best, which I guess is where that comes from in Sith. But yeah, he definitely felt like, and I think the Jedi actually taught him this, which is ironic, that he definitely knew what was best, and was above normal people in a lot of ways, because
that's how the Jedi were. That's how they kind of above reproach.
Yeah, and they fucked that up, dude. They really did. Like,
they're doing a lot. So just a second here.
Oh, it's all good. But yeah. Let's go back to the MCU. Stormbreaker, you got another one?
What if Ned Leeds became Spider-Man?
Ooh, Ned Leeds is Spider-Man?
And you have the actor playing Ned Leeds in a Spider-Man costume swinging down the city.
That sounds like the fucking awesomest shit.
Yeah,
oh my
wouldn't
God.
that be just the funniest thing to see ever?
Man, I would love that. Nobody else is really hype on that?
No, it's pretty legit.
I mean,
still
it's a more comedic take. Obviously, you're playing it for comedy.
Mm-hmm.
You could have him be a version with the lighthearted soul of Spider-Ham or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just imagining like him catching him like falling or thinking that he's falling, but then like his gut presses up against the wall and like Spider clings him to the wall. Like,
oh wow.
I mean, yeah, exactly. He's like, ah! And then like, oh, and then he like looks down and then.
That's a good one.
You know, it's good for body positivity and all that. It would be kind of funny. I like that one. Dan, you got a crazy one?
Yeah. What if Peter Parker was an adult in the MCU?
Yeah.
Like how old?
He will be in about 5 or 10 years, right? So
Something like that.
When we get him back.
How old are you talking as an adult? Like middle aged or is he like?
Give me a 30-year-old. I want either a college age Peter Parker, like a grad student, or he's in his 30s. Yeah.
I'd be down with that.
Somewhere around that age.
like where he's like let's say starting like Parker Industries or something, or he's actually
right,
literally working for Stark or something. Like that, yeah.
Tony Stark has had too much of an impact. We'll have Peter do his own thing in this version.
Yeah.
Peter can run Parker Industries, and either Cap or Tony, whoever goes after him for Civil War. How do we see that playing out?
I think it would be interesting.
If he was Spider-Man the whole time, like from a teenager, he'd obviously be much more accomplished with his powers, a lot more stronger,
right?
Everything else, he wouldn't be like a lot of the heroes that were in Civil War there wouldn't be able to take him, like Wanda, Hawkeye, like even Hawkeye, like when it wouldn't be able to shoot arrows at him, like he'd be almost unbeatable in that scenario, except for Wanda, maybe.
Vision, maybe.
But
maybe not Vision in the MCU. He's kind of.
What if Peter Parker took over Stark Industry and rebranded it as Parker Industries?
Yeah,
well, that could happen, right?
That would be kind of cool.
That could literally happen in the MCU.
That could literally happen in the MCU. Yeah, that's true. And that.
What if? Oh, good.
No. I was just thinking like it kind of did in a way where with the glasses.
Even the glasses.
Yeah.
And maybe when he turns 18 or 19 or 20 or something like that, they'll have Pepper Potts come in and say, "Hey, you're the close." Well, he's got his daughter too, though.
Yeah, I just wonder, working off that, what if Peter Parker became Iron Lad?
Yeah,
he already is.
Again,
basically, yeah. What if he was Civil War? He's like, here's a legitimate suit, like Iron Man.
Up until they got the rights to Spider-Man, it was going to be that kid from Iron Man 3 playing Iron Lad, right? That role.
Yeah, I think that can still happen.
So let's say they didn't have Spider-Man. Let's say Marvel didn't get the rights back to, or negotiate the rights to use Spider-Man in cinematic.
Yeah.
And it was a kid from Iron Man 3. Whatever, I can't think of his name right now, and he's Iron Lad, which also Iron Lad is Kang, if I'm not wrong.
Correct.
Iron Lad. Kang.
Well, he's Kang before he becomes Kang, and then he sees Kang, and he's like, "Screw that."
There's a chance they might not do that in the MCU. I feel like it might be too much for some audience members.
Honestly, I think they will do it. I think that's exactly what they'll do in the Young Avengers, just because it's such an interesting storyline with his character specifically, where he's like, and I think it would be cool.
True, if they actually keep him as Iron Lad, then it would be an awesome story beat to do. Yeah.
But will we have Riri in that piece as well, or are we just going to go with Iron Lad?
Get away with Riri. I don't want her.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not.
I kept thinking Shuri was going to be Ironheart.
Yeah, that would be better.
I feel like Shuri's going to run the whole Wakanda thing and Panther.
But
whatever happens in Black Panther 2, T'Challa won't.
Dan, we might get an echo from you, my friend.
Is it me?
I think
why is it me?
I don't know. Let's see.
Try it now. It's still not going.
It actually might be you, maybe, Burke. Now
is it? I can try.
Oh, you muted yourself. Yeah, I think it is.
No.
Is it me?
Is it me? Maybe because
Trev, this is your fault. Trev, this is definitely your fault. Sorry.
Your fault. Is it the scroll search right now?
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Anybody else got any crazy ones they want to throw out?
Well, I think like Shuri could easily be a young Avenger. I don't know if this is like on the same what if, but I think Shuri could easily become a young Avenger. That's why I was thinking like Ironheart would be a good fit, but maybe it's like a new person, like a Black Panther Ironheart kind of like mix.
Yeah.
Which would be dope.
Yeah.
Vibranium armor.
Well,
Sure.
the current rumor is so weird because the current rumor is that they're going to introduce her, Ironheart, in WandaVision, and that she's actually going to be staying with Pepper Potts. And like, this just sounds so outlandish to me. I'm like, what? But
there's so many like that right now.
Why do that when you have Iron Man's daughter already there, and you have Shuri, and you have all these characters that can essentially carry on.
Yeah.
The Iron Man legacy. Like, you don't need. Why are you introducing another person? You got Peter. You got Morgan. You got Shuri, which can be Black Panther / Iron Man / whatever. Like, you have all these characters, and if you introduce Iron Lad, it's another one. Like it's. How many characters do you need to carry on Iron Man's legacy?
All of them. Everyone needs to have Iron Man armor.
Yeah, it's a good point. And I don't even know if there's I haven't looked at the official numbers. I don't know how big the readership was for Ironheart, but I know she was of that sort of school of comics that wasn't doing particularly well, right? So be it what it is, I just don't think there's even necessarily that big of a fan base for Ironheart. So yeah,
that's the MCU's job, isn't it? Adapt comic characters from books, make them be appealable to the big screen.
It's true. I mean, they did that with Guardians. You know, you could argue that like Guardians or even Iron Man before the MCU was not super popular characters. So yeah. But
Ironheart is a character mostly hated by most 90% of the fan base of Marvel.
Of the comics.
So is Captain Marvel generally, right? So, but like not 90%, but like it's just the whole thing, right? Like if it's a character that's written well, it can come across as well. But it's just like it's got to be like just how many, like I was saying, how many legacies can you have for one character?
Yeah,
like it's where it's too much kind of thing. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
right.
It is a little weird. Yeah, just because of this particular situation and how they've sort of leveraged Spidey and Tony particularly.
And you got that, and speaking of it, and the kid who might be Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
So
it's. I just like to see more technology come out from like some of the other intelligent people in 100%. The MCU.
Yep.
I know that like obviously Reed Richards will come in and fill that role, but like even like I would like to see Shuri. That's why I would like to see her as like an Ironheart or like a character like that.
Yeah.
Because it'd be cool to see how she designs a super suit if she were to do that.
Dude, totally.
Like I'd like to see how they take her character and like this is what she would make if she wanted to make a super suit.
Ultron.
As long as she still becomes the queen of Wakanda, do whatever you want.
Cool with me.
Would she want to be the queen though? She seems to really sort of not like that.
But would she be the stand-in while T'Challa's doing whatever?
Yeah, she wants to fight. That's why I feel like she'd want to be a young Avenger.
Yeah, she did put them claws on and kind of do her thing with those for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Those were like Iron Man.
Right, that's exactly. I thought that was an Easter egg, to be honest. Like I was like, maybe that's like a sign that she's doing it.
Could be. What if the Red Skull got Captain Marvel's powers from the Tesseract, like she did?
Oh,
but they blasted him, and then he gets sort of her photon blast kind of things.
And you know what? That could have easily happened. Look, because they were experimenting with the Tesseract's powers, powering up all those weapons and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And they were trying to power, I'm sure, engines and everything else.
Yeah, so I mean, he's obviously taken Steve in that situation, I feel.
Captain America would have a much harder time taking out the Red Skull.
I don't think his plan would be the same anymore. He probably wouldn't go for bombings. Like, he'd probably just, go and do it himself.
Yeah, right, exactly.
He'd be unchallenged.
Yep. He'd be ruling the MCU world, and he'd be ruling.
Yeah. I mean, who would have stayed in his way, really?
The only argument is if it teleports him across the universe, and then he gets his powers there, and the only reason he hasn't come back to Earth is because he's doing other things elsewhere. So maybe he gets an army somewhere else. That's the only real way. Is if he's like, oh, there's a whole universe I can conquer. I don't just have to conquer.
It becomes on par with I actually think someone like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
In that scenario, Red Skull, if he has the Captain Marvel powers, right, and they're fighting woot to woot, he would be the one to probably send Steve across space with the Tesseract, and Steve would be the
The Stone
Wraith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
that's
dude.
how that would go down.
Yeah, that would be
Mhm.
sweet.
On Boromir. Yeah.
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 Well,
So
would it be Captain America Cap, or would it be like 4'5" mini?
It would be the Hulk version of Cap. Oh, whoa,
Be
wait.
Captain Marvel Cap.
It would be the whole cap.
Hulk
The whole
Cap
cap.
versus Captain Marvel Red Skull. Boys, we just made $1 billion
That's how you
movie.
do it. There you go.
Sign me
That's
up.
how you do
Holy
That's-
shit.
it. With what do you call it? Sorcerer Supreme Hawkeye, right?
Yeah.
Why did she get so durable from the Space Stone?
So I don't know exactly. I
'Cause
really
reasons.
don't. It is kind of weird, right? Like you think about it, like why doesn't she have any teleporty shit at all?
Like it's all the powers from the Space Stone.
She
Like,
be-
I could understand being able to fly really fast or
Ooh,
teleport, like you said.
Trev, this is it. This is the connection. This is what happened. The Tesseract opened up a portal to the Dragon Ball universe, and she was gifted the power of Super Saiyan.
Yep. That's it.
She unlocked her key.
Yes, that's what happened.
Ooh. What if everyone in World War II that got shot by Hydra agents just got teleported to Sakaar, and they have their own community and they started Sakaar?
Oh, like from the weapons they made from the
Because
Tesseract.
they're all made from the Tesseract, right? So
Yeah.
what if instead of them all being,
Those are those teleportation beams. Yeah, you're right.
Dude, that
what
is
if they were just all being teleported to Sakaar, and then they're all just like they started Sakaar?
dude. I mean, that would be brilliant. My brain, like my twisted brain, would make them go to like a totally different planet where they're like
Boromir.
sort of like treated as horrible refugees and like everybody like hates them. It's
Right.
like where'd all these humans come from? Like, you know what I mean? And then
Terrans.
they just pop
Like
up.
Terrans.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
Red
Sakaar
Skull
probably
back
had
and
it.
becomes their leader.
So
Who becomes?
so are we
leader?
going to? Oh.
Red Skull. When he goes up.
Red Skull should do it.
So
Wait, does Red Skull still have the Captain Marvel powers in this situation?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. Yes. That's why.
And he's gonna go,
Okay.
dude. I think real quick too, just because like I'm feeling this. I feel like he would then go to attack Asgard.
I was just thinking that actually.
Because he
And
knows
or
about-
what happens in Thor when Thor comes down to the planet and Red Skull's in charge and Mjolnir lands wherever in Arizona.
Is Red Skull instead of Hela? Is that
Dude,
In
Well,
Ragnarok?
Red Skull, well, maybe
Red-
Odin would be forced to bring Hela back because Red Skull was so beefy.
Oh my.
or maybe Hela has the Thor hammer and she's teaming up with Captain Marvel Red Skull.
My goodness.
But she's
Or
yeah,
Hela.
she's kind of got a thing for Red Skull. I was just thinking
And
that.
maybe Red Skull, because he was all into that Norse mythology and
Yeah.
reading it all. Maybe he knows
Yeah.
They're a power couple, dude.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That would be
Yeah,
a power
yeah,
couple.
no, that'd be
Kate
cool.
Blanchett and Hugo Weaving.
so are we going to?
Lord of the Rings?
So are we going to talk about what if Thanos won again in Endgame?
Ooh,
I don't know if there's
pretty
much to
short.
talk
It's a
about.
pretty short. What if?
Yeah.
And everyone's dead, and that just ends the MCU.
Yeah,
What would have
right?
happened if he didn't snap away the stones?
Well,
Like if because they went to fight him
Yeah.
as if he had the stones. So like,
Yeah.
what would have?
They could have used the stones to go back in time and reversed everything without having to do because the same way not Captain, but
Hulk.
Doctor Strange uses the time stone to reverse the apple being eaten or rotten and everything else. They would have been able to just reverse everything and play everything over again the way they wanted to.
Mhm.
I'm actually thinking that Reed is going to find the stones again in the MCU because it's not as though they're gone; they're reduced to atoms.
Yeah,
And
or
so-
some kind of collector where they can reform or something.
Right. I think that he might figure it out and like almost like a magnet for those atoms. And then
Do you
bring
think they'll
them
keep
back.
using them as like a continuous
This
MacGuffin?
would, I don't
thing?
think this would happen anytime soon. This would be later on, and it would probably be like the way I would. Here's just where my brain is at. Like,
Maybe to beat Galactus.
well, they'll use the stones to try to prevent something really horrible that's happening. Like that's what happens in the lead up to Secret Wars. Is like they initially use the stones to try to stop the very first incursion. And
Yeah.
it
Mhm.
works for like a little bit. It stalls, but then it actually destroys the stones, which is weird because We're talking about the destroyed stones that came back. But it destroys them all except the time stone.
And isn't it where the Infinity Gauntlet, the stones can't work outside their own universe, right?
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
each stone can only work inside their own universe.
Right, but we've already broken that rule in the MCU.
Yeah.
So that rule
Which
doesn't.
makes me wonder.
Have they though?
Yeah, because they grabbed the stones from technically branched timelines and bring them into our timeline.
Yeah.
They're like.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you could. It depends on how you're looking at it, because maybe like these branch timelines are unnatural.
But they fixed the timeline at the end, though, right? Supposedly, according to the ancient one, that's what they're doing, right? And Mark Ruffalo, we're putting the stones back.
Well, yeah, not in our timeline.
Yeah,
though,
but I don't think they did
ones.
it correctly.
They don't do it to ours. Ours doesn't get the stones back.
Right.
The main timeline does not.
My only way I think they would get the stones back, and I think they might do this anyway because of how much timeline meddling is kind of like seems to be set up in the next phase. I think the only way they would get the stones back is if they get rid of every other multiverse.
Oh,
Which could easily happen because they're going to really confuse their audience.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Secret Wars is.
That's kind of what Secret Wars is. Yeah, they start all the universe starts collapsing and it's shrinking, and it gets to the point where there's literally just two Earths or two universes, and it's the Ultimates universe and our universe, and then boom, and then it's nothing.
See, that would be good. I think they could do something. What if they did something like that, but instead of the two universes like you just said with the Ultimates, what if they just did an X-Men universe and the Marvel and the MCU, and that's how the X-Men get in, or the Sony universe. I don't want to see.
Speaking of X-Men, what if Henry Cavill ends up getting cast as Wolverine?
Look, I would love it. Okay, now that's I
can't see it, but go ahead.
You can't see it at all.
Now that I heard that there's a rumor of Hyperion being in the Loki series, I just want Henry Cavill as Hyperion.
Yeah, I would love him as Hyperion for sure. But I do think he could play a good Wolverine, I think.
Yeah, I'd see him as Cyclops before Wolverine.
Scott Eastwood can be Cyclops. Okay.
What's Scott Eastwood then?
Cavill be either. Yes, and I'll say it again. Because if you just look at them cheekbones and the face, okay, the brother can pull it off.
He could do it.
I think Liam McIntyre could play Wolverine too. He was the replacement Spartacus.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Who was the guy that played Ramsay Bolton?
We talked about that.
Would he make a good Wolverine?
Nah, dude, he's done, and
you don't think so?
That Ramses was too. He went. You know how like
he went too hard.
Yeah, he went too hard. Like it's that man ain't gonna be a hero.
He's too much. He's gonna be typecast as a villain probably for the
rest of his life. Yeah.
He was also in the Inhuman show as
he
well.
Played that Maximus. That was and before I knew that show was gonna be ass. I was actually really excited for his portrayal of that. Dude, can we just talk about that for a second? Because, like, they really pulled the rug out from under me with that shit. Because they announced before... I just need to rant about this for a second here. They announced that IMAX was helping with the fucking budget. With the budget. And they were shooting the show on IMAX cameras. And then you see the first trailer and you're like... They shot a film student set with an IMAX camera. What are they doing?
I was fucking done with that show from the second episode when they cut Medusa's hair off. Yeah. I was just like, this is the cheapest way to do it. I don't want to have anything to do with the show. I was
gonna say I like Anson Mount. Like he
was the only good thing about that show. I would actually not mind him coming back as Black Bolt. He was the only good thing about that show.
I never made it past episode 3, so I can't.
And I don't think not many people watch that series, so it wouldn't be that big of a problem.
Yeah, from what I saw, Lockjaw looked cool, but like, I didn't watch a single frame of that show, and it was the very first show I told people to boycott. And even back then, when we had barely like any subscribers, people were still mad at me. They were like, "How could you say to boycott it?" And all that stuff. I was like, "Dude, look at it. It's ass."
Right.
But luckily, we didn't need to boycott it. It got canceled.
They should have tied it more into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
and the fact that like I think the problem was the showrunner behind it. He's the one that did
Yeah.
Iron Fist
Yeah,
and
dude.
the Defenders.
And the last
They
season of
go-
Dexter.
Really?
Scott
Eh.
Buck. Scott Buck. Yeah, Scott
So
Buck. He's
Scott,
terrible.
but like, how does this guy get jobs?
I don't know. And this was after the
I
last
haven't
season of
heard-
Dexter.
Dude,
I haven't
Hollywood is
heard
such a
from him
weird town,
since.
man.
I just hope we get the
Yeah.
Inhumans back in the Miss Marvel series.
Yeah, I think we will. Yeah, Vin
Yeah, I
Diesel.
hope so.
Diesel. Put Diesel in his Black Bolt.
I would
Come
love
on.
Vin Diesel because he's got the right.
Vin
He's
Diesel,
playing the
yeah.
voice of Groot,
Yeah,
and where he's just a voice for the one character.
and then no voice.
Be a complete
Yeah.
opposite character with no voice.
But when he opens his mouth for the first time, he should say, "I am Groot," though. He should just be like, "I am Groot," and then
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
The best of both
I
worlds,
feel
right
like
there.
all of the Marvel TV shows, pretty much all of them except for the Netflix ones, are cash grabs. They're not really like
Yeah.
they're not good. They're just in quick. They're cheap investments to make a grab. Like especially the Hulu ones. Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, you don't like the Runaways, huh?
Runaways,
Runaways-
and Cloak and Dagger. Like they're
Runaways,
both like
the
I've
Runaways
heard-
is oh sorry. The
no, go ahead,
Runaways
about
is
the
by,
Runaways.
the Runaways is by many considered the best Marvel show there is.
Really? So
Oh,
okay,
I just
this
can't
is what I
fit it.
can't. I gotta watch this show because I've heard literally both.
I
ends
didn't
of
watch it either, but I heard many people saying that they really like that show.
I've heard
Cloak
some
and
people
Dagger
say
is
it's
another-
terrible, but I've heard people say it's awesome, and I've heard people say it's terrible. I really don't get
most
any
people
in
probably
between
think
with it.
Loki's the only character in the MCU.
Yeah. that's
So,
He's a
anyway,
good one,
also really quick, is Groot is he worthy? Is Groot worthy?
Yep. He's a king, right?
it. Is he a
Groot,
king?
Alpha
he's Groot. Groot. I think has wielded Mjolnir in the comic
He
book.
wields Stormbreaker. I mean, I know that doesn't have the same.
Groot's like a king on the level of Odin or something like that.
I think so, yeah, because he was part of the
He's like
Thor
a-
Corps.
He's like a whatever. What level is that called? Skyfather.
Yeah.
Something.
Groot's like a Sky.
I'm not sure if he's a king yet in the MCU though.
No. I'm really wondering what Vin Diesel meant with that Alpha Groot thing that he was saying in that.
I would bet that.
I kind of hope it's that version of Groot that we get in that game, Marvel, that mobile phone game.
With the hammer.
No, it's like just a Hulk like Groot. He's like so.
Theoretically,
I
he
hope-
could do that, right? I mean, you've seen him
Yeah.
stretch his legs out and his
Yeah.
arms and stuff.
Yeah, he could go full like Ent style, and be I assume as massive as he wanted to be, really.
Well, like I said, like
Yeah, I'm taking it at face value. He's gonna be Lupus Gigantormus, like when he's out for Groot, insanely bigger than Giant Man.
Yeah, I hope he's kicking a bunch of ass, like making like armor and stuff like on him.
Yeah.
and stuff, too. That would be.
I
really
just
cool.
wonder, like, if we're getting what we might like, what people are talking about, the potential of like all these like Thors in the MCU or like in Thor 4. What is
Nice.
like
yeah.
what
I think
are
that's
they
so cool.
against that's so big that they need so many people wielding like Mjolnirs and stuff? Like, how are we gonna have like Beta Ray Bill and like Jane Foster Thor and Thor himself? Like, how are we gonna have all these people and like what's the threat that they need all of them for? I really don't.
Well, Gore would work.
by the end of Thor 4, like so Jane Foster will be Thor for a little bit, and then she'll probably become a Valkyrie by the end of it, or nothing at all.
Yeah, I don't think she's not staying.
And then Beta Ray Bill will get Stormbreaker, and Thor will have.
Why would she not stay as Thor?
Natalie Portman is not going to sign a multi-picture deal to do MCU movies. Like,
but she could be like.
Valkyrie in the comics now.
Man, it's all about the money.
But she's a Valkyrie in the comic books though now too, right? Like she was Thor for a while, and now she's Jane Foster Valkyrie or whatever, right? So
because I mean that version of her as Thor in the comics is kind of popular, I think.
it was a good run.
But
I think they like the artist.
Our-
Was it Aaron something or other? Is the
yeah, Jason
artist?
Aaron was the writer.
Yeah, he's super popular. Like that writer is super popular, right? Like,
But they had a chance to not bring her back. So why would they have like? I feel like she had to have signed a multi-picture deal, or they wouldn't have brought her back.
I honestly think that kind of moving ahead in Phase 4, they're going to try to plug more people in like that, and that's kind of something you could see at the end of Phase 3, anyways. When they did Cate Blanchett, like they
have way more money now, right? Well, technically, I guess. Well, with Disney being closed for a while now, but like it's.
Well,
Yeah.
that's sort of a more. That is actually like it's like an agency thing, like in sports, where it's like the job of the studio to pay them as little as possible, and it's the job
Right.
of like the guild to get them as much as possible. So
Right.
I don't really know, but I feel like even Christian Bale, like I don't think he's signing a multi-picture deal.
Oh no.
Like you know what I mean? Like big
Because
actors like
You
that.
think Natalie Portman signed like a 3 or 4 picture deal?
I don't think
That's
so.
good.
I don't think so because
She's doing like prestige pictures. She
that's what
does
I'm
like
saying. Well,
yeah,
she wants to negotiate per. I feel, and if she signs like a big deal, it's gonna. I mean, she won't be. Yeah, I just don't see it. But I could be wrong. I mean, hey, look, if she's up for it and the character's cool, I'm down. But I
Anyway,
just think this,
yeah, I just think Stormbreaker will go to Beta Ray build by the end of it, and Thor will have Mjolnir back.
Yeah.
I feel like Thor's not going to have Mjolnir. Like I feel like
or maybe
Thor's
you have this.
from Odin, like
You-
the
yeah.
Odin.
The
You
Odin-
have
It's like-
Scepter or like
So Loki brings Mjolnir from an other universe to the main universe. Whoever wields it becomes worthy. So Lady Thor grabs the hammer. Thor will enchant a spell on it because he has like the Odin role now.
yeah.
So I mean, then he will give Stormbreaker to Beta Ray Bill. And Thor will just go on to become Odin's son like he did in the comics because Thor has
old King Thor, right?
Yeah, that could because Thor doesn't need a hammer at his peak.
Yeah.
But I'm just a fan of that mighty Thor character. I want her to become an Avenger.
yeah. I could see her keeping around. I think they're going to retire Chris Hemsworth, but not kill him.
That's
like,
what
I
I'm
don't know.
thinking. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
he'll be like old King Thor on Asgard or something.
Well,
And then
I
they
think
could bring
they're
him
actually
back
gonna
for a big movie if they want to, but they
Yeah.
don't have to like.
I think
or anything.
I think they'll just keep reinventing Thor and all the OGs until they can't do nothing with him no more. They're not just gonna, kill him.
What if-
Thor
what if
particularly
Thor-
was? I mean, Ragnarok was so big that like, and particularly, bringing Taika back as well was, I think, a huge.
Having Thor being the leader of the new Guardians team.
Yeah, but I don't think so. So the reason I don't think is because I think that they might do a version of Siege with New Asgard. And I think it's actually better for them if they sideline Odinson and they like have him out in space or doing something crazy elsewhere, and not have him be there with New Asgard.
Yeah.
Until maybe
But
later.
Thor is gonna be when is this Dark Avengers thing rumored to come be with us?
It'll
I would
probably
say by the end of this phase, beginning of next phase.
Yeah, I would say it's going to start trickling in, and you'll see if they do it as the big movie. Like if they really like go there, which I'm really hoping that they do. That won't be for several years. That will be in 2023.
If you read my big theory on the Discord from last week.
No, I did not. I honestly
I feel like this like all during phase 4. We'll probably see Ross at the end of movies, similar to Nick Fury in phase 1. We'll see Ross recruiting, like he'll recruit Ghost, he'll recruit like Taskmaster in Black Widow.
Yeah,
he'll be recruiting all these people in the post credit scenes, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he'll be building his own kind of whatever Thunderbolts or whatever it ends up being.
Yep.
Because I think some of them. Even Yelena might even show up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So with the Dark Avengers being spread out through all this other stuff, Thor doesn't come around to like 2022, 21.
Yeah.
True,
so
same with Guardians. When Guardians 3 come out too, right? Guardians 3 isn't.
So I haven't. If I can quickly talk about that, so I have an article coming up talking about Black Widow, and but there's a character in it. That I'm talking about in it that you guys don't know, but it's. I think Josh, have you read it?
Is it the one you sent me today?
No, it's the Black Widow one. I sent it like a week ago.
I don't think so. I don't think so. If I did, I just scanned it.
There's a Dutch actor in the movie, and he's like 220, and he's cast as for a role in Black Widow. And he on IMDb he said that he's just an it says that he's just a Gulag inmate with the Red Guardian, but he's like a very big guy, and he's like a big actor in Holland, and he's cast in that. And he said to this Dutch newspaper in a Q&A that he plays a larger role in the movie, and that his character is not just for one movie. And when you see his profile pic on his Instagram, you see him turning into a bear.
No way.
So I'm going to send it on Discord to you. So I'm 99% sure that he will be playing Ursa Major in the MCU.
Dude, that
I'm
would
going
be
to-
sick.
I'm going to send it to you now.
That
Yo,
would be
he's
sick.
huge. He sent me a picture of him. He's
Yeah.
massive. He's a massive man.
Dude, that would be great.
And but I go deeper into that in the article. So
Now, was Ursa Major a mutant, or was there something else?
yeah,
Yeah.
he's a mutant. So he would be the first mutant to be introduced in the MCU.
Well, there's that whole thing with
fantastic.
like Omega Red and like the sort of Weapon X program, and then the Russian equivalent to the Weapon
Right.
X program. And I think like
That'd be a good way to introduce it and tie it in.
yeah, I mean they could still introduce Logan that way. Like a lot of people are saying like they'll do like a Logan's young now and all this stuff. They could still introduce Logan. He's a grizzled sort of secret
Do you
weapon,
see that he's-
you know what I mean?
Do you see that he's turning into a bear half?
Did you just send it to me on Discord?
Kinda.
Yeah, I send it to you.
All right, let me check it out.
In the face.
Could also be like we're getting away from the main topic here, but Logan could also be like
Oh my God, you're right.
part of the Thunderbolts, right?
So
Logan is
Ursa
part of the
Major-
Thunderbolt.
Ursa Major could be a member of the Thunderbolts.
Like Logan could be like a villain, anti-villain, or an
Yes,
anti-hero.
that's the way I would. That would be very cool, actually, if they sort of introduced him that way. You know?
Because then we could get Hulk versus Wolverine, and everyone wants it.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Which,
true.
by the way,
Again,
everyone
and
was
he's
upset about that with Endgame.
agent of the government, which he
Right.
kind of was in
Yeah.
Hulk 181
Mm-hmm.
when he was introduced.
Yep.
Department of
And
And
I
so,
think-
so
Oh, go ahead.
Hulk was an agent of the Canadian government, though, or not Hulk. I mean, Wolverine was an agent of the
Yeah.
Canadian government. Certainly, like he's investigating Wendigo and the Hulk in his original appearance, right? In his
Mhm.
first appearance or whatever, there, right? So, like he could be a similar thing, but he's investigating. Because right now the Avengers are all kind of on the run right now, the same way Spider-Man is, the same way Spider-Man was at the end of whatever there. I can't think of right now. Home.
Far
From home.
Thanks. And
Yeah.
yeah, so like it's all going to be like this whole phase might be them being hunted
Yeah.
and Ross recruiting, and like it's like I said, and then Logan could be part of that very
Yeah.
easily.
It would be sick,
Yeah.
He
dude.
could.
But I'll just say
Mhm.
this too: Savage Wolverine with Professor Hulk, dude. He would tear Professor Hulk up
Yeah.
right now.
Well, me and Stormbreaker were talking about it, and I think like a lot of people got mad at Endgame after Endgame because they were like Hulk didn't get his time, and people kind of assumed that's his last shine.
Yeah.
But we were talking about theories, and we were talking about how Thunderbolt Ross, how we think he gets his powers, because Stormbreaker was theorizing that he like starts to infuse himself with Super Soldier Serum
Right.
in Black Widow, and that's why he's not walking with a cane. But I suggested that I think Professor Hulk is. I don't think we've seen the last of Savage Hulk. Like I think we're gonna get it back because he's gonna be fighting Red Hulk and clearly losing, and be like the only way I can beat him. And this is gonna be like the last hurrah for basically Hulk, because he's gonna be like I have to give it back to full Hulk
Nice.
and give him like the power back so he can go, because he's clearly not as strong as Savage Hulk is.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like
I like
Well,
that.
he'll
What
lose
if,
Professor
but
Hulk, he'll lose, and then he'll have to come back as Savage Hulk, right?
yeah.
what if Ross has been experimenting on himself since Civil War though? Because
Yeah.
I'm thinking in his hair follicles, there's some red stuff in there. Like he
Really?
has some red stuff in his hair. Yeah, like the
Really?
Russos even talk about that, and they were tossing that idea around, so they kind of kept that in the film. So I'm thinking, dude, since Civil War, he's been pumping himself up with this stuff that has been working until it does work, and then he would reveal himself to somebody, transforming into the Hulk in a post-credit scene or something.
I can
like
see
that.
it. I can see it going like this because Abomination is considered to be a part of the Thunderbolts. So like Abomination fails a mission, and then he or Abomination is killed or something like that, and then Ross will be like
Ross kills Abomination.
fine, like this, like fine, I'll do it myself, and
Yep.
then he turns into the Red Hulk and
and
kills
kills
him.
Abomination. That would make sense. I'd see that.
Yeah, that would be sweet, man.
Mhm.
That would be sweet. Well, gentlemen, goddamn, those were some good what ifs. Those were some good what ifs.
It was a sweet stream.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being here,
Absolutely.
guys. Thanks for being here in the chat, everybody. And yeah, we're gonna call it there. And we gotta think of a cool idea for next Monday as well. Or is next Monday gonna be the first of the month? Let's see here. I don't even know what's going on. I'm
No.
Ronaville.
30 days.
27th.
21st today, right? 20th today.
Yeah, so
20th.
one more week, and then the first week of next month, it will be on Saturday. But yeah, we'll come up with a cool idea for next Monday as well, okay? All right, thanks a lot, everybody. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.